Our second Premier League selection sees 7th place West Ham hosting 4th place Aston Villa. And West Ham overcame a 2-goal deficit in their most recent game, with Danny Ings' equaliser seeing both Burnley and West Ham share the points in a 2-2 draw. This means that the Irons are unbeaten in each of their last 3 Premier League matches. One thing that unites both these sides is their European football. Now, West Ham would have been disappointed to lose against Freiburg in the first leg of their Europa League tie, and will be expected to devote all their resources into the second leg on Thursday. Although the same thing does apply to their opponents Aston Villa, who drew 0-0 with Ajax in Amsterdam. But unlike West Ham, who are fairly safe in the Premier League with nothing to play for other than a European trophy this season, Aston Villa also have a really strong shot at finishing in the top 4. And the pressure has been ramped up with Spurs gaining on them by 3 points at the weekend. Now, as touched upon in the last selection, Aston Villa did lose their most recent league game by 4-0 against Spurs. Okay, the scoreline is perhaps slightly exaggerated thanks to 2 late goals from Spurs, as well as Aston Villa playing for 10 men for about a third of the game. But there are some positives to take in this most recent match. In the first half of the game, for instance, Aston Villa took 5 times the amount of shots and generated 22 times the amount of XG compared to Spurs. Okay, they did give up 70% of the ball, but Villa are not really known as a possession side. However, in terms of form, the recent loss did interrupt a 3-game unbeaten streak. Head to head, Aston Villa won the last game in convincing style by 4-1. To West Ham's credit, they did generate a similar amount of chances to the side that ended up winning. However, the XG was only around half of that of their opponents, which shows that the chances were speculative at best. I do fancy Aston Villa to pick up a win here. However, due to a combination of a turn in form and potentially fatigue from both sides due to the European ties on Thursday, I'm going to temper my selection, not in terms of stake, but in terms of outcome. I'm going to be laying West Ham or double chance Aston Villa for a full stake in bet number 2.